My friends, it looks like we have a new imposter among us. Suspicious Gravel is the latest expansion pack to Minecraft 1.20's brand new archaeology system. Since we last talked about Suspicious Gravel in this video right here, I've been studying. This block is so intriguing to me. Since I've learned a little bit more, and I'm still obsessed, let's check it out. Today, this all begins with the Ocean Ruin structure, a structure that has been in Minecraft since the 1.13 update Aquatic. The Ocean Ruin is a really interesting structure. I was taking a look at the structure files, and I'm pretty sure that the Ocean Ruin is the structure with like the most diversity in the entire game. For starters, the ocean variant that the ruin ends up generating in will set the tone. Will the structure be mainly made out of bricks, or is it going to be sandstone? But that's just a start. After we figure out what the structure will actually be built out of, then we have to figure out how to actually build it. And how to actually build it? Yeah, I guess there's a lot of ways. An intro to the Ocean Ruin. Check done. Keep that all in mind, because we'll be coming back to it. Additionally, keep in mind that dropping a like on this video right here, it not only helps the video out a bunch, but it also pleases US President William Howard Taft. Segue, the Suspicious Gravel. The Suspicious Gravel is a brand new archaeology block added in last week's preview. Mysteriously. When this thing was first added, it was intriguing. I like how the devs said like nothing about it at all on the changelog, other than the fact that Suspicious Gravel has been added to the game. Taking a look at the changelog right here, all we had was archaeology feature set, added Suspicious Gravel block, but no mention of where. The first spot you'll be able to find Suspicious Gravel is, of course, inside of the creative inventory, right down there. In game, grabbing our newest suspicious friend and dropping it down on the ground, we take a look at it. It's an interesting looking block. It's essentially like gravel, but like kind of like with a dark spot in the middle and a couple more lines coming out from it. The sus gravel texture is the same on every single side. The sus gravel sounds, they're new. They're a little bit different than normal gravel, and that includes the walking on sound. To me, walking on Suspicious Gravel is a little bit more crunchy, and definitely a lot more loud. Just like its brother, Plain Old Gravel, and its cousin, Suspicious Sand, Suspicious Gravel is gravity affected. Except when it falls, just like sus sand, it shatters. And it kind of sounds like glass or pottery breaking. Also, just like its cousin, if you're into the idea of breaking the Suspicious Gravel block, of course you could just, break it with like your fist or something. But the real way to break Suspicious Gravel is brush it away. It's got 4 break stages when you do it like this, and once you finish it, it turns into normal gravel. And that's it. Or at least initially, that was it. After a little bit more research, I was able to discover where this thing actually generated, but that's kind of all I knew. And what was essentially a top secret change. Minecraft's most very diverse and, in my case, forgotten structure got a bunch of updates inside of the latest preview. With that Sweetwater X-ray enabled, flying around here, we can see that inside of this cold ocean biome is gravel. Gravel and even more gravel. Gravel generates all over the place inside of the ocean. But what about the warm ocean? It's different there. Compared to the cold ocean that we were just taking a look at a second ago, warm ocean generation is way more beautiful and 1,000,000 times more sandy. Gravel doesn't really exist inside of the warm ocean. Now this was one of those things that tripped me up quite a bit, because what happens in the warm ocean, or heck even the lukewarm ocean, with almost no gravel generating here in this biome? Sus gravel definitely doesn't make sense. But after having even more time to dive into this stuff, it looks like the warm ocean ruin is updated with suspicious sand. Interesting. That's pretty cool, but for now, let's jump back over to that gravelly version of the ocean. Any cold and normal oceans that happen to generate ocean ruins inside of them, at those ocean ruins, you're going to find Minecraft 1.20's first brand new dig site, and also probably most difficult dig site. Aside from those really cool freak instances where these ruins generate on beaches on the land, these dig sites can sometimes generate pretty deep in the ocean. We're talking like 30 blocks under the water. It's gonna be a challenge. But oh boy, take a seat, because that challenge is definitely worth it. So take a look at this dig site. As we move into this one right here, we look around in the actual inside. Of course, first off, we got that chest like always. Maybe you find a map and then you go get that treasure. Starting to clear out some of the blocks inside of this thing, though, will reveal even more secrets. On the ground inside of the structure, and actually underneath it and beside it too, you're gonna find suspicious gravel. Now, unless it's buried, I don't think it happened at this structure, but sometimes, if these gravelly ocean ruins generate right next to sand, you'll find sus sand too. I would say I've checked out about 10 to 20 different cold ocean ruins, and it seems like on average I'm finding like 6 to 7 or so sus gravel or sus blocks inside of these things. That's not bad. Now, that's just a little bit of an estimate here, but from the bat, that means that this dig site is going to have way more diggable blocks than the desert well dig site. Maybe not as many as the desert pyramid, but it also depends. In the world of Minecraft parity differences, if we take a look at ocean ruins on Java Edition, they're split up into two separate groups: ocean ruin cold and ocean ruin warm. So it's kind of like two different structures. Now, seeing as this old structure is confirmed to have an update in Minecraft 1.20, it'll be interesting to see if that parity difference is patched over in this update. Another interesting parity difference that I seem to have noticed is how they actually generate. When ocean ruins generate on Java Edition, it seems more often it's not just one ruin. It's actually kind of like an old city, a cluster of ruins. As you can see here at this ocean ruin.
Hold on.
As we can see here at this ocean ruin on Java Edition, we got that massive centerpiece. But then we also have building number 1, building number 2, building number 3, and building number 4. Now, that's not to say that I haven't seen structures generate like this on Bedrock, but it just definitely seems like on Bedrock, they kind of generate more as these isolated houses, at least from what I was finding. And that multi-structure generation, that's going to go for both versions of the ocean ruin as well, the cold and the warm. As of right now, though, there's no sus gravel on Java, and the ocean ruin hasn't been updated. Just from what I can see in this ocean ruin on the surface here, we have what looks like 5 pieces of sus gravel. Let's say 5 was the average number of sus blocks in each structure. At this city over on Java, that means we're looking at like 25 the sus blocks generating all over this thing. That's way more than the desert temple. But only time will tell. We'll have to wait until they're on Java to see how they actually generate. Now, when it comes to loot inside of this structure, it's interesting. I've been doing a lot of excavating. Check that out. Explosive. We start with a bang. I got a little peek at this one. That's going to be an emerald. Very, very nice. And then this one right here, a little bit less explosive, but it's still interesting. It's gunpowder. But is it worth diving deep under the ocean, dealing with all of the drown that spawn at this thing, while still trying not to drown yourself? Debatable. Back to digging, and finally, it looks like we have something interesting. Surely, this has got to be a new shard. After all, new site? Oh, wait, what's that?
It's just the prize one again. Is reused.
So far from this loot table, we've got TNT, we've got an emerald, we've got gunpowder, and we got that prize shard. Brushing this next one away, again, a disappointment. A little bit of gunpowder. And then finally, to wrap this up, breaking out some of these blocks just to see if we have anything buried. We do. So right there, that shows that these things can actually generate buried inside of the structure. It's very, very interesting. And we end with a bang. Now, depending on how familiar you are with these excavation structures, I don't know, maybe you saw a god on it or something, this should look familiar. The official loot of suspicious gravel right now is going to be one of these 7 things every single time. We got the bow shard, we got the prize shard, we got the skull shard, we have explosives, we have crafting explosives, and then we have some nice valuables. Hey, okay valuables. Is gunpowder, or heck, even a diamond and emerald, worth the potential risk you may have to face when trying to excavate one of these things? I guess it's your call, but it's familiar. If you've already locked in and memorized the early versions of the loot tables for this archaeology system, then you know that loot table is pulling straight from the Desert Pyramid loot table. It's exactly the same. And that fact right there proves that if we already didn't know, this is 100% a temporary placeholder loot table. Taking a look at the Desert Well versus the Desert Pyramid, they're completely different excavation sites, so they have different loot. If this whole archaeology stuff is all about storytelling, which it is, does it really make sense to tell the same exact story at 2 separate locations that are actually they couldn't be more different? The current version of sus gravel is 100% and certainly a placeholder version of the finalized form of sus gravel. It's absolutely going to have different loot, and side note, do shipwrecks usually generate floating on Bedrock? With that current and official loot table discovered for the sus gravel block and the cold ruins, what about the warm ones? I was thinking maybe we could find something different here, so I got to excavating. And after excavating for a little while, I met a familiar friend. Disappointment. It's literally exactly cloned over at the Warm Ocean Ruin dig site. As of right now, and who knows, maybe only for one more day, the ocean ruin dig site is exactly the same as the desert pyramid. That all means that right now there is literally zero reason to go through the struggle of excavating a submerged ocean ruin. Just go to the desert pyramid. Another thing that I've noticed that I'm honestly not too sure what to make of has to do with the shape of the structures. It seems like usually when I find the structures that look a little bit more like they were buildings, they have the suspicious blocks. Meanwhile, some of the structures that look a little bit more like centerpieces, if you will, they seem to be missing the suspicious blocks. I don't know if it's a coincidence or what. Temporary loot, that's 100% what it is, and if it's not, I'll leave a dislike on 1.20. So what can we expect of the ocean ruin? Well, first things first, I'm thinking the sniffer egg. 100%, we excavate the ocean ruin and get a sniffer egg. It'll be interesting to see if it's only in the warm ocean, only in the cold, or in both. Also, absolutely, we will be doing a little bit of sharding at these ocean ruin structures. Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see if these new shards maybe tell a story, a tale, a story, a something, as to how these structures actually got submerged in the first place. The final idea that I had is honestly probably a long shot, but it would be amazing to find trident shards submerged in sus sand. Maybe if you were able to find enough of these trident shards, you could then take it over to a crafting table and actually craft yourself a trident. Or at the least, be able to actually use these shards to fix up your trident. That'd be super cool. To wrap up our adventure today, is back over to Minecraft Bedrock to continue searching structures. The devs sneakily added sus gravel to the ocean ruin structure. Who's to say they didn't do it in, like, the jungle temple? Okay. A little bit disappointing, but I mean, it's gotta be coming. After all, they updated the desert temple. Why not the jungle one? How about the ocean monument? There's so much potential down below these things. Taking a look at this ocean monument right here, because in the warm one, we would find sus sand instead of sus gravel, but no, it's not here either. Another structure that I thought would be amazing to check for sus gravel, because it would be so cool, is of course the mine shaft. Imagine being able to go into the mine shaft, which is already an excavation site in a sense, and find sus gravel, but unfortunately, no. No gravel here either. And you know what? Apparently no spawner here either. Just a really weird big room. Nice. Suspicious gravel, suspicious sand. Brand new ocean ruin dig sites. I think that's basically everything for now. What do you think about this stuff? What other structures would you add suspicious gravel to, and what do you think we'll be able to find at these ocean ruin dig sites? Well, let me know down below. I'm sure we'll know a whole lot more about this stuff once it's added to Minecraft Java, which could be tomorrow. Smash like, subscribe, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.